Hey guys, Paul here from Meldrum Performance Coaching and the Complete Personal Trainer podcast. So today we're going to go back into the fat loss hierarchy for general population clients. It's a bit of light there, that's okay. So when we talked about the fat loss hierarchy, I got my notes here because I have notes now. Very exciting. First thing that we need to focus on is nutrition. We kind of all know that. The things we focus on: nutrition, NEAT, structured cardio, weight training, then other forms of movement. And this caveat is general population. So if you're working with a strength athlete, you're probably not going to put cardio before weight training. Same with physique athlete. But if you're talking about general population, looking at over 35 who just want to get healthy, be able to run around with their kids, lose weight and feel good, cardiovascular training does have more health benefits overall than resistance training if we're going to equate for all things being equal. So let's get into nutrition now. So this is the number one priority. So this is the same whether you're working with general population or physique athletes or anyone else for that matter who's looking to change their weight in a downward fashion. It really does, nutrition is going to be the biggest factor here. And we need to really focus on energy balance, and we can do this in multiple different ways. We need to make sure that we reduce our input to be lower than our output, creating a deficit. And we can do this by either focusing on the input part of the equation, or we can do it focusing on the output part of the equation. The thing being with focusing on the output part of the equation is it's a lot harder in terms of time required and effort required. So the whole expression, you can't out-train a bad diet, you can to a point. Like professional athletes do this all the time. A lot of them have terrible diets, but they're training load of 3 to 5 hours a day. So general population clients, we want to focus on input first and then optimize our output, so we're ticking all the boxes there. And the thing with this is we can use many methods to get there. It doesn't really matter what we do as long as the client can adhere to it. So we can use intermittent fasting, macro tracking, low carb, keto, vegan, paleo, Mediterranean, II, FYM, whatever approach the client can stick to, it's ideal for them to help them lose weight. Now, if we're going to do this in a little bit more detail, we're going to set our clients some dietary minimums, like 5 servings of veg, 2 servings of fruit, focus on lean proteins throughout the day and healthy carbohydrate sources. But for all intents and purposes, as long as we achieve a calorie balance, a calorie deficit, we are going to lose weight. How we feel will be determined by the foods that we use to get there. So there has been evidence, and people have done it with just ice cream protein powder. Is this optimal? No, probably not. But a lot of the time we get caught up in the pursuit of optimality rather than focusing on actual adherence to the plan. So I'd rather people adhere first and be a little bit less than optimal, i.e. putting sauce on vegetables and stuff like that, as long as they're in a calorie deficit, rather than try and do everything perfect. So this is the most important thing to do. And then from here, we need to, as coaches, match the advice we give our clients to the client's level of nutritional literacy. So I've talked about this before. I got this concept from Precision Nutrition, where they talked about how if you've got a client who's not that nutritionally literate, if you give them macro tracking, they're probably going to fail miserably and not understand. And if you've got a client who's incredibly nutritionally literate and you tell them to chew their food slowly, they're probably going to go, what? This is not what I came here for. So what we want to do is break the clients down into 3 levels. Level 1 clients are like, is butter a carb? They don't really know too much about nutrition. They've never followed a diet before. They're new to this. These are going to be our bread and butter clients. This is the majority of the clients we're going to work with, which is why I say if you get annoyed by questions for clients like this, you need to get out, because this is where most people are, and we need to meet them at the level that they're at. It's our job as coaches to be able to do that. Level 2 is the client has followed diet successfully and shown some success with it. So for that type of person, we can give them basic, nutritional targets. Like you want to hit 200 grams of protein a day or whatever it may be. That's beyond the scope of most personal trainers, but we can give more specific advice for that client, or we can point them in the direction of getting more specific coaching. A level 3 client is a client who's going to come in and show you their spreadsheet. They're going to have everything mapped out. They know how many grams of this they're having. They know that loading creatine monohydrate isn't that important unless you're competing in a strength sport, you've never had it before. They want to know what alpha GPC is going to do to their brain function, their ability to increase acetylcholine during workouts. They're going to ask these really nerdy questions. Nothing wrong with that. For our level 3 clients, we want to make sure that they get results and they have that kind of ability to use us for accountability. So from here, what we want to do once we want to create a calorie deficit, we want to work in a way that a client can adhere to it. We want to then give them nutritional strategies that match their level of nutritional literacy. We don't want to just assume that everyone's a level 3 and that they've got skills when it comes to, say, like I've seen some coaches recommend actually telling people to grow their own vegetables and stuff like that. It's like, there's a lot of things to consider there, like do they have the skills to that, do they have the time, do they have the availability, do they have the resources? All these things need to be considered before we start making just random bits of advice. And then finally, we need to look at measurement and accountability. So we need to make sure that our strategies are working, that the client's sticking to it, and that they're getting the outcome that they've come for. So you can use whatever we want here. Scale is great, photos are great, tape measures good, food journal is good, macro tracking. It doesn't matter what the tool is, as so much as does the client use it and stick to it. If they use it and stick to it, it's a great tool. If they don't use it or it causes a whole bunch of issues, it's not the best tool for them. So with this, guys and girls, and everyone who's listening to this, for fat loss, general population clients, nutrition is number one. First of all, don't get caught up in the dietary dogma. Let people do things that they want to do. Involve the client decision-making process and use your coaching strategies based on your client's perceived level of nutritional literacy. Match the right strategy to the right person. And then finally, from there, look at methods of adherence and measurement to see how well your clients are doing. If you do all this, you're going to take care of the nutritional part of fat loss diets. And then in the next couple of podcasts and episodes, we're going to talk about how to do the non-exercise activity thermogenesis and the training to help them get all the way there.